You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Welcome to my daily review. Today is Monday, July 22. I was in a dentist chair all morning, so your Monday has been much better than mine. Anyway, the Nasdaq today had a little bit of an oversold bounce. Here it was up 280 points or 1.58%. You can see the volume was 14% below this 50-day average volume. The interesting thing about the Nasdaq, for me anyway, is, it sold off. It had these three horrific days, right? Sliced its 10, sliced its 21. Looked like it had a date with the 50 here, this rising 50. But today, bounced higher, but it closed right there at its 21 EMA. So you got a 10 EMA that's curling lower. So the short-term moving average is in a downtrend. The 21 is curling lower, and the 50 is in an uptrend, and it closed right at the 21 EMA. So to me, this is no man's land. It could go either way. It's a situation where I'd rather be out looking in and making this index prove itself, because I don't want to be heavily invested if it's going to come down to the 50 or even worse. But if it does, rip through the 21 and through the 10 and wants to trade higher, then, I'm all for that. Then it proves itself, and then I will get more heavily invested. But anyway, the Nasdaq still has a lot to prove, even though today was a nice bounce back. The SPY, once again, it's got that big gap down from last week, and it's going to fill that gap eventually, 562.10 there, but it's a long way from it. Now this one, the SPY, traded through its 21 and closed just a tick below the 10. So that's a little bit stronger than the Nasdaq. It was up 1.3% today, 1.03%, excuse me. The IWM, strong index, pulled back to its 10, found support, bounced 1.59% today. So much like the Nasdaq, and well, not like the Nasdaq in that it's above its 10, but it's like the Nasdaq that it was up 1.59%, with the Nasdaq being up 1.58%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed above 40,000. It had that, made that 41,376 and pulled back to the 10 and found support. So, trading above the 10 is acceptable, and that's healthy, and that's what you want to see. And that's why I'm worried about the Nasdaq, right there at the 21. It could easily get rejected there at the 21, and want to take more time to, digest these big gains here. When it's in this trend here and ripping higher, that's when we make our money. When it starts going sideways, it gets a little tougher. When it starts doing that, you're probably losing money. So we don't want to lose money. And that's why I am more cautious now when I put the yellow flag. I'm cautious on the yellow. All right. Apple. These things are all going to be impacted. The Magnificent Seven are going to be impacted by Google and Tesla earnings report tomorrow. So, that's two of the seven Magnificent Seven stocks reporting tomorrow, and it's going to have an impact. But Apple just pulled back near its 21. It looks fine, but anything can happen. And like I said, I wouldn't get too heavy. I had to reduce because I was forced to sell ELF and NVO, and the only thing I could find to buy really was Coinbase. So I'm less invested than I was last week. Microsoft was up 1.3% today, just pulled back to its 50, found support and bounce. So that's what you want to see. Support at the moving averages. I did mention Google. Pulled back to its 50, found support and bounce. Like I said, they're going to report tomorrow after the close. So, they're going to have to report strong earnings and give good guidance, because those tech stocks that aren't giving good guidance are getting punished already. Meta Platforms are going to report on the 31st. traded below the 50, and now the 50 is going to act as resistance. We'll see if it could trade through there. Amazon was upgraded today. Didn't seem to help it. You know, had the Prime Day, didn't seem to help it. Nothing's helping Amazon right now. Sliced its 50 and going sideways. That doesn't look good. And then NVIDIA. NVIDIA did not make it down to its 50. It came close and then found support, but now it's bumping its head against the converging 10 and 21 EMA. So you see those moving averages trading together. It means, you know, NVIDIA is trading kind of tight recently. Yeah, they're within 0.2% of each other. So NVIDIA has to trade through there. The high today was 124.07, and the 10 EMA is 123.85. So it needs to power through there, get above that 124 level. And that's what I'll be watching for tomorrow with NVIDIA. A couple other semiconductor stock names that I was asked to look at. One is AEHR. This is an obscure name, you know, blast from the past. It did have this big move here prior to the bear market, and then, you know, really did well in 2023, but now this year has fallen on hard times. And it's just trying to emerge from a stage one base here, and it traded above its 200, and now it's pulled back and closed just right at its 200. So it needs power through there. Getting a lot more volume here recently, but this is a flea of a company. I mean, it's only 537 million market cap. So just a small cap semiconductor equipment stock. ARM, this is one that I'm interested, a larger, more liquid name. And this one broke out of this base and pulled back. And now it's trading around that 164 buy point, but you know, it's having problems with the 21. 1.4% above the 21. So I'd like to see it trade through there. But definitely ARM is intriguing me. PI, Impinge, this one we had on our ready list at MC Stock Charts, you know, because of the pattern, you know, pulled back to the 10, found support, bounced nearly 6% today. But to me, this is still actionable around that 175 area. And I wouldn't chase it above about, I would say about 185. I would let that one go, but if it wants to run hard, you know, I'd take a swing at that one. RMBS, I don't know why this thing was up nearly 10% today. The chart looks like a mess. They're going to report earnings next week, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. But it's got a long way to go to fight through the moving averages, and you can see the RS rating, you know, 25. RMBS is just kind of struggling. There are better stocks to own in this group. Broadcom, you know, had the 10-for-1 stock split. You know, just kind of struggling with all the extra surplus, the added surplus here. Trading above its 50. And once again, kind of like the index, you know, it's got the short-term moving averages curling lower, and it can't fight through them. All right, I was having a conversation this weekend about how stocks trade, you know, they're like dogs. They trade in packs. And during this rotation, you're seeing money flow out of certain sectors and into other sectors. And recently, you know, when it's doing this, and you know the money's flowing out. And when it's doing that, you know the money's flowing in. But DR Horton, obviously with the, you know, lower rates anticipated, these home builders are rate sensitive, and they've been getting a boost recently. And there's just a lot of stocks within the group that are doing well. This is Meritage Homes. I think this one's actionable here, right around that 190 area. Lennar is another one in the group. They're just trading like pack dogs. Double bottom base, very, you know, interested around that 172 area. Toll Brothers, another one in this group. It's actionable right there around the 135. KBH already broke out and is, you know, acting like a leader here, above its moving averages. GRBK broke out, and it's way above its moving averages. But I just wanted to point out that a lot of, you know, the rotation, one goes up, they all go up. So these insurance, stocks have been pretty strong recently. This is HIG Hartford, had a big run, consolidated for a long time. Let's take a look at this one on the weekly. So it's shown the ability to move, make big moves rapidly. It's consolidated in this base for 10 weeks and trading right around that buy point of 103. So the insurance group is pretty strong, and that one looks pretty good above its 50. That's Hartford Root. This is one that also had a massive move, and now it's consolidating in a base, and definitely one that I have on my watch list. Jackson Financial, this one I had on my ready list last week. I don't think I have it this week because I had it lower in the base here. Was it pull back to the moving averages? This has kind of moved a lot, but it's still trading near the buy point of 81.50. That one doesn't look too bad at all, but they kind of trade together. So when the rotation comes in, they move higher. And when the money flows out, they move lower, and they move kind of all together. This is Allstate. I'm just showing this one because it's setting up in a base here. Needs to form a little bit of a handle and allow the moving averages to catch up. You can see the short-term moving averages are now traded through. The longer-term moving averages, you got the RS line through the moving averages, little pullback. The RS line looks like a cup with a handle pattern. So Allstate looks good, and Aflac looks a little stronger here. It just found support off the 10 and bounced slightly today. But yeah, I like that group, the insurance group. The oil and gas stocks, once again, you know, one's up, they're all up, and if one's down, they're all down. These guys trade in a group pretty much. This is a VIST, Vista, an oil and gas international exploration stock, small cap stock, consolidating in the base. You know, it's shown the ability, you know, to make big moves and then consolidate. And there's nothing wrong with that. Stocks need to form bases. As you know, profit takers come in, they're sellers, and then speculators come in, institutions buy it up, and then it forms a base, and then it moves higher, you know, another 20-25%. So that one looks good. TRP is another one. This is in a transportation pipeline group. This one formed a base on base pattern and has moved higher. Looks a little extended here. Yeah, it's a stage 1 base there. So as it emerges from that base, it has shown the ability to move rapidly. So that's definitely one to watch. 43 billion market cap. That's a lot bigger stock right there. Weatherford, you know, I'd say you got to really watch when your stocks, companies or stocks you own are reporting their earnings, because Weatherford reports tomorrow. And I just realized that, so I had to lighten up a little bit. I put it on my ready list. And so hopefully they report strong earnings and it gets rewarded tomorrow. But that one looks good. KGS is another oil and gas field services stock, setting up in a base, pull back to the moving average. That one looks good as well. If you take a look at the IPO here, you can see the IPO base. Has it shown the ability to run higher? Yes, it has. Got this base on base pattern. So Kodiak, I'm interested in. They don't report till August 7th. And then another one in this field services group is Tidewater. I like this setup as well. I'm just trading kind of quietly above its moving averages. And another group that I like, I mentioned this earlier, Coinbase. The crypto names are acting well or better. And Coinbase, you know, looks to me like it's just, we had several little buy points on this. Early entry buy points, and it's trading above this downtrend line here. So the last, you know, 4 or 5 days had some decent volume as it moves higher, and the price, you know, the digital currency markets are showing strength as well. Another stock in this group is MicroStrategy. Up what? $21 today, or 1.2%. Had that buy area around 1740. I didn't put it on, I don't think, this week, but it definitely looks good right in there. Trades above there, and obviously the pink by number standard buy point would be $2,000. So why buy at 2,000? You can buy at 1,800. Just thinking kind of logically there, right? HUT. This is another one in the group. When the digital markets are trading well, this one trades well, and then when they don't, it doesn't. So this one was up nearly 4% today. And you can see it's just trying to emerge out of this stage one base. That one looks pretty good, actually. Another one in the group is CLSK. This one's showing the ability to move as it went from what, 3 to 23. Thank you very much. And now it's just been consolidating for a long, long time. So it needs to break out of this consolidation pattern. And it's probably going to take a little while. Yeah, the 23.45, stop it. 23.45. Yeah, get above there, it'd be fine. And it's shown bottomed a couple times. Tested the bottom, just trading flat line within the base there. Clean spark needs to break out. IREN. This is a data center and it's a digital currency component. But it's shown the ability to move, certainly. And now it's kind of like, it's pulled back to its 50, kind of, making higher lows now the last few sessions here. So maybe it's found support, flagging a little bit. So it needs to break above last week's high. What was last week's high? I'd like to see it break above 13.14 before I get interested in Iris Energy this week. All right, that's it for the crypto. Another group that trades together is these bank stocks. They've been doing really well. This is Huntington Bank Shares, had it on our ready list last week. They reported earnings and it's acting well, up another 1% today. BKU, not Burger King. This is Bank United. You can see this pace here and just, now it's getting extended away from its moving averages, but this one looks good as well. Yeah, making new highs actually today. So COLB, another one of these regional banks, setting up in a base here. And this, I kind of like how it just kind of goes sideways. Volume drying up a little bit. The moving averages are catching up. How does it look on the weekly? Yeah, it's just in this, base building stage. So as it builds the right side of the base, that interests me. Earnings Wednesday. Be careful of the earnings. HTFL, this is Heartland Financial. HTFL, HFTL, HTFL. Come on. Okay, market surge isn't going to give me that one. So I don't know what's going on there, but TFC, they reported this morning. Truist, this one had a cup with handle, broke out. Nice response to the earnings report, up 3% with volume today. So Truist is on the march. If you look at it's breaking out of this base here. Broke out of this base, stage one base, ran up, consolidated. Now it's running higher once again. Probably form another base here pretty soon. All right, so I'm going to move on to the software names. I have to do it. Bring everybody down with CrowdStrike. I told people, don't try to catch a falling knife. You do not know how low this will go or how long the selling will last. A lot of damage done to the brand here. So this is going to take some time. CrowdStrike now trading below its 200. Heavy volumes. Just a lot of sellers coming in. I know, maybe Kathy Wood or some hot shots might have bought the stock, but you just got to stay away from something like that. Heavy volume. Look at the weekly volume. It's already met above its weekly volume in one day today. So institutions are getting out of the computer software. Security name CrowdStrike. Are they getting into Zscaler? Not really. Can't get above its 200, excuse me. So these are looking pretty rough. So I want to get to some stocks that are looking a little better. Spotify reports earnings tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. It's below the 50, but still consolidating on a base within the base. So that one intrigues me. Another software, financial stock making new highs. FICO, Fair Isaac. That one looks good. TASK, Taskus, broke out of the base and now trading higher, making new 52-week highs. KD, this is one that I have on my ready list. And you can see that it's just consolidating within the base. That looks really good to me. ZETA, ZETA is a little bit ahead of that one because it already broke out. And now it's making new highs here. You can see this one had that big move higher, consolidated in the base, and now here she goes again. So that one looks good. And then VERX. This is the last one in the software group, another software financial name just making new highs. So, it's hit and miss there, right? Some are doing okay, some are not. All right, I've got to get to this. I mentioned that stocks trade in packs up onto the upside and to the downside as well. Decker's leading the pack lower. Actually, Nike's leading this group lower, but this thing's in a clear downtrend. The short-term moving averages is traded below the longer-term moving average. They're going to report though on the 25th, so we're going to hear from what management has to say there on Thursday. And but all these stocks are just following along. CROX, same thing, just in a downtrend. And I did mention Nike, so I should show Nike just trading lower. This thing actually looks like it might be trying to form a bottom. That is the largest stock in this group. Skechers, same thing, through the 50, just in a downtrend. So stocks trade in packs, and they trade in packs. When the money's flowing in, they trade higher, and when it's flowing out, they trade lower. So just be cognizant of that when you're looking for rotation, which we're seeing a lot of rotation in this bull market, just money flowing from one sector to another. So I just wanted to point that out today. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Oops, I lied. I'm not leaving here. I have one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I'm going to go through some earnings reports tonight here. And once again, stocks that trade in packs. Cleveland Cliffs, it's up 1% after hours. It's been sold hard though. Wow. Through the 200, everything's in a downtrend. $15 stock. Wow, that's fallen on hard times. We'll see what happens tomorrow with their earnings report. It wasn't all that great. Neither was Nucor. I don't think enough to turn these things around. They're clearly in a downtrend. So steel stocks, Steel Dynamics reported last week. Yeah, it didn't help it at all. So steel stocks are just in decline and in a downtrend. NXPI reported tonight. Pretty decent report, but their forward guidance was soft. And so the stock's going to be evaluated on the guidance, and the guidance was soft. And that tells me that there's pressure on these tech companies to, raise guidance and show that they're really robust demand for their goods and services. And if not, they're going to get a haircut. There's an NXPI with an 8% haircut after hours on what was a pretty decent report. CDNS Cadence. This is another one of those semiconductors designed for the semiconductor group. Down. That was a strong report too. It was up immediately following the report. I wouldn't be surprised if this one was up tomorrow. Pre-market, is just a bunch of wackos trading in pre-market. You can never tell. The pre-market's not an indication of what's going to happen in the regular session. So keep my eye on Cadence Design Systems going red to green tomorrow. SAP, good report out of Germany. It's up 5% after hours, so good for the software name. This is a 234 billion market cap stock, so it's not a little stock. So maybe, just maybe, it could help some of the software names tomorrow. And the last one, oh boy, say a prayer for MedPace Holdings, down 13% after hours. Once again, the guidance was soft, and these stocks are getting hit on soft guidance. So those CEOs that like to sandbag, their stocks are going to get hit. You gotta beat and you gotta raise in this current market environment. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll have more on these earnings reports tomorrow morning at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Thank you for watching.